What I wanted to come on and say first of all is, and I might get Charles to join me for a few minutes on this one as well. Don't run away, Charles, because I want you to come in a second. I've seen a lot of videos this weekend from all over the country, Bristol, the Midlands, Scotland, and incredibly horrendous scenes in Liverpool, disgraceful scenes in actual fact in Liverpool. Now, a lot of people say common law doesn't work. A lot of people haven't tried it. A lot of people have tried it, but you've got to remember that we are up against a very, very bad government. Boris, the Tories, are treating the subjects of this country very, very badly. They're almost making it like a police state. We have laws, we have rules, we have conventions, we have all agreements that we're signed up to. We're still in Europe until the 31st of December. So the Human Rights Act of Europe still stands. And the laws the police are doing at the moment are unlawful. Even under European law, what they're doing is unlawful. In the Human Rights Act, what was formed way back in the 1900s and then became the Human Rights Act in 1948, and then changed again, or not changed, but resubmitted or redone in 1998 in the Blair government. Tony Blair wanted to change it. He tried to change, to dress up and make it up and do different things with it. He couldn't do anything with it because it's still word for word. The only thing I would say is that because it wasn't challenged prior to that, the government seemed to think they can get away with virtually anything. Now, when you're walking down a public footpath, right, when you're walking across a Queen's Highway, a bridle way, the old laws still stand. You have a right of way, a right of access, right? If the police stop you and put their arms up to stop you, you're walking down the street, that's unlawful arrest. That is forcibly stopping you, and it's wrong. It's unlawful. They can't do it. And what they're doing is using regulations, acts and statutes under COVID, right? And when they brought this out, it was on the grounds of guidance, that the guidelines should be followed. And it would be safer if we did this, that, and the other. I personally think when you're in the open, you should take a mask off because you're breathing oxygen in. If you're in a confined space, maybe not, where you've got other people. But if you're out in the open, I can't see the problem. I'm not breathing in natural oxygen. And so what I would say to people is, if you're going down the road and they stop you, you should ask the police, is this a criminal offence? Try not to engage in conversation with you because they're trying to draw you in. They're trying to entrap you. They've already entrapped you by stopping your or blocking your access or your way or your route or whatever way you want to call it. If they stop you and put their hands up, they're trying to marshal you. And then what they will try to do is get you to try and understand. They start talking to you in a language they want you to adhere to. They want you to come round to the fiction, basically, and to their draconian ways. Now, we've already stated that COVID-19 are only guidelines and regulations. They're not law. They are breaking every human right act, discrimination act, and fundamental right of every person that has got the right to walk any public place. Right? It's an excuse they're using, it's tyranny, and it is disgraceful, the behaviour that they're using. They're using force, brutal force. Their job is to protect and to serve. They don't even know their own professional behaviour standards, and their job is not to go out there and to serve out punishment. It's to protect and serve, and they're doing it all unlawfully, and they're getting away with it. They're thinking, see, people, what they're doing is they're conceding to them. And they're saying, yes, do you understand? And they're saying, yes. Just don't do. I've seen many videos with Tracy Blackwell. And every time Tracy Blackwell's done videos, she's always turned around and say, I don't understand your laws and rules, and walked off, right? And they tried to stop her and pursue her, and she just says no consent, so on and so forth. And what you've got to do basically is, if they go to read you your right and put a handcuff on you, right, do not say anything. Because if you say anything, they will say to you, anything you do say may be used against you in a court of law, so on and so forth, right? Anything you say to them anyway on the streets, they will use against you. But you just said you went such and such, or you just said you're visiting a friend, or you just said this, or they use it and turn it around. And all the time they're writing notes down, and they could put a fictitious charge against you for what you were actually doing in the actions. And we've seen this because there's lots of people out there videoing, and we've seen exactly what they're doing, right? Are you trying to get into? You're muted.
Someone's trying to come in.
Oh, sorry.
Jason's tried telling you.
Oh, sorry. Who's trying to come in?
Joe?
Oh, I can't find it.
Come on, Alan. Get in that way. We won't bring him in. Or Sandy, or Sue, you can all do it. You're all co-hosts on here.
Right, sorry. I've muted Jojo. Sorry about that. Sorry, Jojo. I missed you there for a minute, mate.
Got to keep an eye on that, Alan.
Yeah, sorry, mate. I didn't notice it. Sorry, Jojo. I missed you. Are you there?
That's all right, buddy.
Sorry, I apologise for that, Joe. I was talking away. I was in my stride, and I didn't mean to do that. So welcome, and I'm just going to finish off on this, and then I'm going to bring Charles in for a second. What I've been talking about, Jojo, is the draconian rules and regulations that the police have put on citizens, and talking about walking down bridleways, public footpaths, the Queen's Highway, and so on, and your legal rights. And the measures that they put under COVID regulations and guidelines. They're not laws, they're guidelines, right? And then when people are stopped them, what they're doing is they're forcing people to stop. They're blocking their way when they're walking down the street, putting their hands up to stop them. So that's by force, it's unlawful arrest. And then they're turning around and saying to them, ask them questions to try and entice them, and to try and entrap them into speaking. Once you start speaking to the police, they can use the term of anything you do say may be used in evidence against you and can be held in the court of law, blah, 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 blah. So therefore, and they do it because you've seen all the videos that are going around. We've seen Liverpool, we've seen the Midlands, we've seen down south, we've seen Bath or Bristol, and all over the place. And it's just becoming an absolute joke. And what I would say, and I did say at the top of the show, is we're still part of the European agreements that were signed to the 31st of December. And part of that agreement is the European Human Rights Act that we signed up to as part of Europe. Now, that doesn't end to the 31st. They're in total breach of them human rights. They're in breach of discrimination laws. Because I think I see one in Hyde Park today where a disabled person, and he used the terms, and I don't like using this, he turned around and said, look, they're picking on me, I'm a spastic. And I don't like them terms because to me, in today's proper terms, we say disabled. But they were trying to arrest a guy who was, you know, a little bit backward. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Charles, what I've said, have you listened to what I've said? You got them muted at the moment, Charles.
Yes. You know, I mean,
Have you got anything to say on it?
Well, I think where we're coming from and where we're a bit naive, I think, all of us.
Yeah.
This is far from what we think it is. The governments of the world, the paedophile elite, have stolen all, and when I say all, I mean all of the wealth of the world. And I don't know how to give an analogy of it because it's something that I came across last night and it fucking stunned me. It's like a fucking vacuum above the top of the earth. And the bastard have sucked everything from it. And I mean literally everything. We talk about, you know, the government doing this and that to help us. They've given us back a few billion here and there. Well, the truth of the, I think personally, the truth of the matter is they've come to the end of the line. The trillions and trillions and fucking trillions they've stole from the sick, the elderly, the infirm, and the people in this world that truly fucking need it. They have stole it. The thieving pedo bastards. They have stole the wealth of the world. And the thing is, they can't steal anymore. This is what COVID is about. Because they haven't got long left before they have to try and justify where this money has gone. And I think we're, like all the shows you do, Alan, and all the rest, we're cracking in on them bit by bit and bit by bit. And everything, there's people cracking in them bit by bit all around. And they can no longer justify what's happened. So these draconian measures that we're seeing, you know, they're not to be able to walk out in fucking public without a mask in your face. They're not being able to go and see your fucking granddad. I seen one today which was so disgusting. It broke my heart.
Yeah.
101-year-old veteran.
Yeah.
That it's so disgusting. They want, you see, this is the, Alan, this is the sickness that we're dealing with. This is the sickness.
Yeah, yeah.
They want us to be so upset about this 100-year-old granddad. They're not being able to protest, that we forget to look behind that. This is all about theft. They have stolen the fucking wealth of the world. And now, with the likes of Trump and all around us, they're getting caught. This is the final ditch effort from the sick, satanic, pedophile elite who so-called blue bloods or whatever people want to call them. And I call the Queen in on this. And anyone related to her.
I'll bring you in a minute, Sandy. Hang on.
This is what we need to stop. Social services, the police force.
Yeah.
The only good service that I can say out there, hand on my heart, that I would respect 100% is the fire service.
Yeah.
I don't think of another service that I can. I don't, Alan. I don't, and I wish it wasn't this way, because when I was growing up, it wasn't this way.
No.
But they have taken every fucking justification for goodness and stole it from us.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, my brother, it's time. Because if people think for 1 second that what these bastards have been doing for decades,
Yeah.
these fuckers will just drift off into night if they can. Like every fucking dirty rat sinking a ship. And we cannot. We cannot. And I know your passion. I see your passion, my brother. No more. We cannot allow them, and we will not allow them to just fucking dissipate into the night. Every one of these fuckers will be held accountable.
Yeah, we know. Joe, can I just stop you for a second? There's just something I want to bring in. You could turn around and equivalate the top 300 richest people in this world to the poorest 3 billion poorest people on this planet.
Oh, without shadow of doubt.
That you could equivalent to. Let me just bring Sandy in, because Sandy had his hand up patiently asking something there. Sandy, did you want to come in there? Sandy, you're muted, mate.
Yeah, that's me now, sorry. Yeah, let's still trying to get in. Jane, give me that in a minute, please.
Yeah, yes it is.
Right.
Asking us for an 11 number ID or something.
It's asking for an 11 number ID.
There's lad there speaking.
Okay, the 11 number ID is, bear with me. That's the meeting ID number it's asking you for.
Can you turn that
That
on?
is, are you ready? It's 988.
Right, wait a minute. It's
Okay, you better write it down. Yeah.
988.
Can you hear it, La?
Then 027.
Wait a minute, that was 9. Who's Jane, please? 988, sorry.
027.
Yeah, 988027
Right,
5
98027.
7. Then 5778.
5778.
It'll also ask you for a part. Hang on, it'll also ask you for a part. Hang on, Charles. It'll also ask you for a passcode. The passcode, Sandy, is 1984.
Right.
Oh, that's ominous, isn't it?
It is.
1984.
Yeah.
Can't forget that one.
No, that's good. Yeah, no, I can see what you've done.
So there you go. That's how you get in.
Your will.
Phone quiet now. Okay, gentlemen.
Now, Alan, I sent you all this earlier. You should have passed all this on.
Needs to put the phone down.
I did pass on certain things, but I didn't do the 11-digit code.
Yeah. You should have just passed on the text I sent you.
Yeah,
Sandy,
The easiest way.
Yeah,
Sandy, that's all right. You needed 11 because you were in Scotland. Do you know what I mean?
yeah. I've had a shit since Friday, Jason.
Okay.
Anyway, Sandy,
No
sorry, you were
comment.
saying, my friend, before we was rudely interrupted by the host.
Oh, I'll bugger off then and leave you to it. You'd all get yourself. All get yourself. Get
No,
yourself.
don't be like that. Don't get nasty.
You can
Yeah,
all
just
all
get the
manage on
guests
your own.
on. Just get the guests on,
Yeah.
then you can go for a cup of tea.
That's
Yeah,
it.
did he
Go on,
not have
Sandy.
Sunday dinner yet?
Go on, Sandy. Say what you're saying, mate. Go on.
I can't remember now. I just hope that Sue behaves herself tonight and keeps her language down a wee bit calm.
Hang on a minute. I've already spoke to Jason about this. You better behave yourself, you and him,
No,
because you start me tonight, you're going to copy it from Jason. All right? You've been warned.
yeah, she's put a picture up on
You tell them,
Facebook
Sue.
of
Go on,
me.
you tell them.
My wife was combing her hair, and she took all the hair off the brush and slapped it right bang on the middle of my bald head, and it looked like I had a Mohican. And she said, "You've got pubes on your head." And so, don't you laugh, Charles Spencer. And I've had to reoccur that joke many, many times now. And if he's got his syrup, look, Sandy's got his syrup with him. She's beat me hands down. I'll give the white flag. Sue's beat me hands down, and she wants to come in now. He's going
I put up on Facebook that I'd like to do GoFundMe to get Alan a wig.
Don't
You
need one.
see?
I'm handsome
So-
enough.
Shut up. Because
Sorry, Charles.
he was being really horrible to me in WhatsApp, and I thought I'd get you back. So, yes, I got him back.
Right.
In
Let's
that one.
let's get on with the show. And Sandy, what was you saying? Was there a resemblance or something happening in Scotland, or the police been totally different in Scotland?
Yeah.
And I see they arrested Robert the other week, didn't they?
Yeah.
Is it Robert Spore?
Spalding. But anyway, they did arrest him. We call him Rabes up here. But they arrested him. Rab is a sort of Charles up here in Scotland. In the common law, this man is unbelievable. Really, really good. So
Yeah, he is good.
he had went up to the Scottish Parliament and served papers on them. And the Saturday, he was arrested for speaking out.
Yeah.
Now, on Saturday there were a fella come along and he started going about, and there were two of them. The first one, he started and he tried to take a bag and he was told to move on. So he went away and then he come back. Now, in George Square, where we hope to do this on the Saturday, there's bench. and people sit on there. So anyway, he started going down the benches trying to steal a bag. So we called on the police, and I'll give them credit. They did come along and they moved them on. Then we started getting on with our own stuff. And as you know, we talk about child abuse up here. That is one of the main issues. We talk about a lot of stuff up here, but the child abuse is the main thing. And the next thing, this African fella come along. And it comes, wow. Out comes the butcher meeting the vegetables. And he's walking about. Now, there are kids here as well, remember. He's walking about them. We called on the police, and at first they done nothing. They weren't doing a thing. Then eventually they moved them to the far end of the square. Well, I was angry about this when I found out and I seen the photographs. I was, oh my God. So I went down to have a word with them. And I went down and I goes to him, I hope you're happy with what you done. There were the two policemen, it was with them. This police, whatever you want to call him, I would call him an asshole. But he come up and he had his hands and he shoved me. He goes, get back, get back. So I started moving back. He kept coming forward to me, pushing me, telling me to get back. I goes, I'm getting back. I goes, it's you, it's following me. He goes, you do what you're told. Right, so I walked away. That he was out of my way, but I was within hearing distance. So I says to this fella, I goes, I hope you're happy with what you've done. I goes, there are kids up there. I goes, do you know that could cause them great harm? Again, I was told to move on. I goes, I'm going to have my say, because when I start, I start. So I goes, I'm going to have my say. I goes, I hope you're happy. I goes, and I hope you're going to arrest him. I goes, I hope he's getting taken away. I goes, and if you do, I goes, I hope tonight that when you're in the cells, you think about what I says to you. I goes, because something like that, when I was a child, happened to me. I goes, and for 53 years of my life, it destroyed me. And the next thing, the police again, move. I was getting made the victim, which I didn't like. I was the one that was getting moved on. But happily enough, they did take him away. We don't know if he's been charged. We don't know what. But I want to find out if this man's been charged, because we don't want that.
I did see a picture of him, Sandy. I saw a picture of the black guy. I didn't see. Is that the guy that got his meat and two veg out?
Aye, yeah, that's the guy. You get a butcher meat parcel out in there. Then he went in for vegetables. You know, so I don't like that. You know yourself, we got on brilliant with the police up there.
Yeah.
They never really bother us. But what I do find is every week there seem to be more police coming on the scene. Right? And to me, they're not needed. It's a bloody waste of taxpayers' money. Now, when we were up there, you heard yourself, the police, they know what we do, but we're peaceful. And these two police officers told us a few weeks back here, because they were going to report back that they don't need so many officers there. He goes, he's a dead peaceful, you know what you're doing, you're running it good. But there seem to be more in them. Now, there's two women.
I was there with you, because we were talking to some of the blue top liaison officers, because they got blue high vis on. And they was as good as gold. And they turned around and said, look, this is not the first time that you've done this. You've done this 2 or 3 times. There's no need for some. And they dispersed some of the police because they said, you behave yourself. Go on, Sue. Yeah, sorry, your finger up. Sue's got a finger up.
That was the 2 Collins. And they said they're just going to go back and give a good report. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we was all there then.
Yeah, but this
is part of the problem.
When I see what's happening south of the border, it shocks me. I mean, they go in there. There's no need of that. Definitely no need.
I don't know what Jojo. What's it been like? What's it been like? Whereabouts are you, Jojo? Are you in England or Northern Ireland?
No. Alan, I left Ireland in 1984.
Oh, sorry, mate. Sorry.
I've lived in England since 1984
Still got a strong accent.
Excuse me.
because it's mine.
Yeah, same as me. People turn around and say I don't lose my London accent.
I mean, I don't give up what I have lightly.
Well, yeah, I've been here 30 years, and people
But,
say you still talk like a Londoner.
Yeah, and you do, because you know when I was a kid, I mean, I don't want to. I listened to your story many times, and it affects me here in
Real,
my
thank
heart.
you. Well,
Um,
not thank you, but I mean,
No,
respect.
but I ran away from home when I was 13,
Yeah, me and Sue done that, didn't we, Sue?
and I lived on the streets of London. I
Yeah,
lived in buses. I lived in
yeah.
subways when I was 13, 14, 15. So I know
Yeah, you
some.
know what we went through as well, because Sue done exactly so. I ran away from Beechholme 3 times, and I've always said my first 25 years were like me. My London was my Beirut, sleeping on the streets of London, going to the soup kitchens, sleeping in parks, in bus. In it, you know, when we talk about going back to them days, you could sleep in a bus shelter.
But them were good days in the sense that you could do it,
Yeah,
Alan.
yeah.
You
Sue done
understand what I
exactly
mean?
the same, didn't you, Sue?
Yeah.
I know it sounds harsh and I know it sounds different, but back then in the 80s, you could do them things safely.
Hmm.
You can't do them now.
I was that kind of like quite disturbing in the respect that I wasn't educated. I didn't enjoy a good education in Beechholme, and I ended up when I was looking for somewhere to sleep, putting a brick through a window or something like that to try and get a hot meal and somewhere warm to sleep in a cop shop. And I used to do some stupid things, and I don't know why I did them silly things.
Because we learned, Alan, that you know, I remember back in the day, I don't know if you remember in London, but I'm not proud of it, but I remember at 4 o'clock in the morning, McDonald's used to have the deliveries,
Yeah.
you know, and places like McDonald's and stuff like that. And we used to go around and, you know, we didn't take a lot, but we took enough to survive. And we had to survive, you know, and, you know, certain things like that, you know, putting the phone card in the box, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, remember it?
You know, and I know that, but
Well, we can go back as far as the coins we used to put in the AB. Was it the ABC or the A and B buttons?
yeah, it did. And then when they brought in the next one, you used to put the little card in under the little return box, and
I'll come to you in a minute, Sandy.
because we had to survive. But
Yeah.
it's just the madness that we're living under right now that
You couldn't
I
write it, could you?
understand it.
You couldn't write it. It's so unbelievable what
Yeah,
to protect and to serve is what I would have thought a policeman should be doing. And I can't believe innocent citizens are being treated so cowardly, so callously, and so disgustingly. And then this is going to backfire big time.
well, you see, the thing is, Alan, it's like I said earlier, and I truly believe this right now. I listened to some reports last night from certain aspects around the world, and I didn't understand where we were going with this COVID. I didn't. I understood there's a COVID now. I understood that there's this, that, and the other, but I didn't understand the true dynamics of where we're at until last night. And then when I heard this report, it was 3.5 hours long, and believe me, every minute, every second, I was there.
Yeah.
Hence why it's not why I put my face on tonight. I normally don't because I'm in my van and I'm kind of embarrassed because I'm still in my van. But to truly understand when I say they stole the wealth of the world, and when I say that, I don't mean a couple of grand here and there.
Oh no, we know about Admiralty law
Well,
and
of
about
the world,
pillaging
and
the,
that,
the empire and the, you
Yeah.
know, when we were pirates of the sea ourselves.
that's the fight that's on right now, Alan. Because they don't want it men known. Hence why the Queen's fucked off.
Mm.
Because they've all been caught. They've all been caught. And I know we're getting a few billion in here. People think, oh, they're paying this. I mean, I was on that what do you call it?
Dole?
That wage they were giving you 80% of your wage.
Oh, furlough.
Furlough. What a fucking great word. Furlough. They furloughed you fucking off. You don't. They furloughed you off over the fences. So you don't understand where the fuck your money's
I know,
coming.
I know.
And I
Let
know
me,
people are saying,
let me just interrupt you a minute, Joe. Let me just interrupt you a second. I will come back to you, I promise. Sandy, you had your hand up there again, mate. Did you have a problem getting your guest in?
Yeah, see the 11 number code.
That's
Yeah.
what
That's when an okay. It's what did you say now?
the passcode.
It's a passcode.
1984.
Right,
They've tried it.
try that.
They've
Is
tried
Jay still in the room?
Yeah, they tried 1984.
Yeah, I'm here.
Jay's still here. He heard you. Say it again, Sandy.
Wait a minute. No, but look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah,
11, he said.
aye.
You're missing a digit.
Mm-hmm.
But that went through, no problem.
But similar to that one, an okay. I don't know why.
Jay knows more about it than I do.
Okay, Sandy, read back the number you've got written down for me.
The long number is 988
Yep,
027
yep.
5778
That's it. And the passcode you've got?
1982
No, 1984.
1984.
That's where you've gone wrong.
They've already tried that.
No. Similar, they've tried that as well.
What, 1984?
Yeah, so we've tried 1984, 1982, and 19.
No, 1984 is the right one. It's my house you got in.
So let me try it again.
I'll get us to try it again.
hey, Andy, that's Nicola Sturgeon telling you to go in. Fuck off. You can't have a shot.
Trust Joe. Hey, Sandy, trust Jojo. Hey, trust Jojo. He's going to be one of them nights, isn't it? It's going to be one of them nights with Jojo. He's on form. He's on form tonight.
Man, it was brilliant last week.
Let me just explain. I want to try and get Sandy to. He's got two guests, two warriors, two great campaigners from Scotland, and like the girls that are going to come on after us, the Welsh Connection, the girls, Adele and Kimberly are absolutely brilliant what they're doing in Wales, and full respect to them and everything they're doing.
Okay,
and I got a great guest on tonight, a fantastic guest
Alan,
on
can I
tonight.
speak to Sue quickly? Sue, I did send you a message in Facebook that you can pass on to them with a direct link they can use to get in.
And what, sorry?
If you look on your Facebook Messenger, I sent you a link to pass on to them.
All
It's
right.
a link they can click on. It'll bring them straight in with no passcode needed or anything. Like a direct link.
All right. Hang on, just what name they going under, Sandy? Because they've been took off again, haven't they?
Say that again, Sue.
What name's Lara and Beck's going under? Is it going under
Lara and Bex, I think you just gave the names away.
I know, but they've been took off, so I think they changed it.
Who are you tonight, Sue?
Somebody's trying to come in, I think.
Yeah,
No, that was my phone.
All right.
Get that back on.
You better let them in then, Alan.
1, 2, 3, 4. No, 6. That's
No,
it.
that was my phone making
No, it's his
noise.
phone. It's Jay.
No.
Bugger.
Right, I'll go there now. Hold on.
They're trying to get you, so just be patient, okay? Stu's away to try and pull you in. Okay.
Let me just for a second, Joe and Sandy. Sandy, Charles hasn't said much tonight, and you try and shut him up sometimes, and you can't. Charles, you've seen what's going on this weekend. I want some of your thoughts on what I said earlier on at the top of the show when I was talking about bridleways, footpaths, the Queen's Highway, and the public right-of-way being misinterpreted by the police in this way that they're obstructing people and stopping them on a public footpath. That it kind of like it's almost like an assault on that person. They are breaking the laws because they've got to be breaking the law, because we talked about the EU law until 31st of December. Under the human rights law, that still stands, but we've also got other conventions and other treaties that we've signed up to in this country, and they've got to be breaking every discrimination laws, everything.
Well, yeah, but one of the things you've got to do is start boxing clever and use these conventions and that against them. But I think I showed it you last week. Passport, first page.
Yeah.
Now you quote this to him, or take a copy, but you just say to her, Britannia Majesty, Secretary of State requests and requires in the name of Her Majesty, or those who it may concern, to allow the bearer to pass freely, without let or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. So basically you say to the policeman, especially if you've got a copy of your passport, can you read that? So you're against the Queen. That is a sedition against the Queen. You're ordered to allow me, safe passage. Go on, Sue.
Yeah, I've sent it to Laura, and told her it's a link straight in. Okay.
Yep.
So go on, Charles, carry back to what you're saying.
Yeah, I say you've got it in your passport. They're not allowed to. The only
Just run over
person.
that quickly and briefly, so Sue got that. I don't know if you got it, Sue, did you?
Why hasn't she got it in her passport?
No, I don't think she heard what you said because she was
No, I
doing
didn't
something else.
hear. I went out. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Well, it says in your passport, first page, Britannic Majesty, Secretary of State, requests and require in the name of Her Majesty, all those whom it may concern, to allow the bearer to pass freely, without let or hindrance, and to afford the bearer such assistance and protection as may be necessary. So the policeman cannot stop you unless you committed a crime.
Well,
yeah, well, we know that, but like I say, this is how you've got to fight them. Instead of just, oh, sorry, officer, how people do, you say you are now acting in sedition to the Queen. Sedition is the act under treason. He is not allowed to break the Queen's word or laws. So that's sedition and all this lot. So basically, if you've got a copy of that or quote it to him, so then you say, so I can arrest you, officer. Are you going to let me pass? Sort of thing. But there again, also comes under common law, Magna Carta, this and another, the Bill of Rights, 16.
But they don't recognise it, Charles. Listen, I'm not being funny with you on this one. I'm going to come to you in a minute, Sue.
Yeah, no,
I'm just going to go out. I've just had a message from the girls. I'm just going to go out. Okay, I'll be back.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
We talk about common law, and we know about the history of common law in 1213, 1215, the Arbroath Agreement in the 1300s, the Battle of Runnymede, the barons, the peasants, and we know about Admiralty law when we pillaged the rest of the world in our empire, and the laws from the sea, because 70% of the world is ocean, and then the laws came to common law on the lands and the barons and the peasants' uprisings and so on and so forth. But what the government and what the police are not recognising is that what annoys me more than anything is that if you murder somebody or kill somebody, the first thing they're going to say to you, under common law, you did murder such and such a person. That's the first thing they say to you. So is that the highest law of the land?
Yes.
You've taken a life. If you've taken a life, there is no other law higher than a life. I mean, what we got
Common
here.
law. It's a common law. All the others they do, when they charge you, if you listen to Delroy, when they charge you, which means a fine, sort of thing, it's under Acts and Statutes, which is to get money off you. That's all it is and all this lot. Well, that's the secondary law. Common law is the law of the land. That's the Constitution. And it's a unwritten law because they're all in different books. Instead, uncodified, it's called, instead of all being in one book like the Human Rights Act 1998 as such.
Would we be fair, Charles, in saying that the police don't even know their own, let me just try and see this, I'm trying to get these girls in.
Nor do they care, Alan.
No, they don't.
They don't care anymore
No, they don't.
because they've been told not to care. They will arrest you under false pretenses, and it's like damn the consequences, people. Just arrest them. Make our physical force seen. It's not about the result. The result is irrelevant. So all they want to do is keep pushing us down and down and down by any means necessary right now, because they are really losing the narrative really quickly.
Yeah.
So it's not about I know what you're saying, and I truly understand that, and I really do. But that's irrelevant to them.
Yeah.
These people do not give a continental flying fuck
Yeah.
what they arrest you under.
Yeah.
They'll just arrest you.
Yeah.
And how many people have been released without charge?
I've seen quite a few.
Yeah,
If
a lot.
not, if not most.
Yeah.
But the
Because
worst part
there is
about
no
that is
care.
it's like they're playing some sort of mental game with you as well, because when they're releasing people, they're doing it to people. They've got some intel or some information on that person they've got in custody, and they know they're either from miles and miles away or come down for the day for the protest or whatever the case might be, and they release them at some ridiculous time like 2 o'clock in the morning. Unless they've got a vehicle or car to drive home in, they know they're going to struggle to get home. And the things they're doing, everything they are doing is so wrong.
Exactly, Alan. It's just that all it is right now, all they're doing is just disturbance. They're just disturbing your right to freedom at all costs. And this is the saddening thing of it. It's not about bringing you up on charges and fining you and all the rest of that, because that would be a follow-on. That would be just an excessive part of what they do. It's not about that.
How
They're
would they, Charles, sorry, Joe, how would they go about, Charles, if you've conceded to them? So once you start a conversation with them, you start talking to them, they've got you under the fiction, right? You've agreed because you're understanding, you're speaking to them, conversing with them, and they can use that against you. I saw one case where a guy was talking to them and they used that exactly the same, but you said you were such and such a minute ago, and he'd already taken notes down on that. How do we stand on the fines then?
Well, you challenge you and all this lot. It's up to them to prove it anyway. But there's a video the other day of some reporter, some active patriot or something. He was at, I think it was Speaker's Corner, he ended up at. And he was there because he tells I'm a journalist, I've got this and another. Fair enough. But then there was challenging him about something. And then for about 15 minutes, he's on about he's only got part of one lung and all this lot. And he's telling him, well, you don't have to say that. Right? And I'm listening. In fact, yesterday, because he's at Bristol, he was getting loads of things. I hope you're not going to continue talking to the police for 15 minutes about your thingy. All you're going to say is, I am exempt. You're not allowed to ask. Because it ended up, even after 15 minutes, he was going, I've only got one lung and all. Well, which one is it then? See what I'm meaning? They're after getting you. and he was gobbing off at him, off, you know.
We said this ourselves. We've said to certain people that we know that don't engage with them, don't say anything. And like I said at the top of the show, it is like, and I hope you don't mind me using her name, but Tracy Black was very, very good at turning around. And when they tried to get her to speak and try to win her over, to entrap her, they turn or entice her into saying something. She says, "I don't understand." Straight away, she says, "I don't understand. I don't understand. I don't understand what you're saying." And she tries to move out of the way of that place because she doesn't want to talk to them. And she's absolutely right, spot on. What she does is perfect example of what you should do. You don't converse with them, you don't say anything. Even if they put cuffs on you, you don't say nothing in the police station, in the van, you don't have. I mean, the guy in, I don't know whether it was it Dorset or somewhere like that, a tattooist, Aaron, I think his name was. The police been going to his shop every day harassing him, and I think he's a tattooist.
Yeah.
And they've been going to his shop harassing him every single day, and then he was videoing it and live streaming it all over the week, and he kept turning them away, and he had signs on his door saying about, you know, trespass, you will be trespassing if you do not cross this thing up under common law, so on and so forth. You stand under common law, and they got must have been the world's worst locksmith to try and break into the shop. I don't know if you saw. Did anybody see the video?
Yeah, but the point, Alan, is they still pushed on with their agenda.
Yeah, they did.
Still shut him down.
Yeah, they did.
And they know what they're doing. And this is the thing. It's not about. I know we say in here, and I said it. I say it again. I know we understand that. But the point of the matter is, you're dealing with two different identities. You're dealing with an identity of the police that don't give a continental flying fuck who or what you are. They don't care.
No.
Because they're told not to care.
Well, so what happened to Julia Care then?
Because they don't care. Because
no, but we have courses and we have things implemented like codes of conduct and behavioural procedures, and they have an oath and they sign up to all this crap, but it means nothing.
Right, Alan, if they had that oath and they even thought about that oath for 1 minute, then they wouldn't be doing what they're fucking doing in the first place. So I know in the grand scheme of things, and we look back and we all sit back and we say, yes, this is the way they should be identifying themselves, and they should be doing this and they should be this. But you know what? They're told not to give a fuck.
Yeah.
So hence why we see what we see.
If you basically, you're going to take them on, Joe. A few years ago, I was returning from Ukraine late at night, 10:30, landed at Leeds Airport. By the time I got out, if you know what I mean, picked my car up. Hey, picked my car up, sort of thing. I was on the M1, went through Leeds. Suddenly, in fact, I took this car. I was only doing 62, maybe. Took this car. As soon as I took it, blue lights, blah, blah, blah. So I pulled over. So they told me, asked me to get out, you know. So I got out. I mean, not giving him any thingy. And then he says, you broke the law? I go, have I? He goes, yeah. And then he went, Road Traffic Act 184, whatever it is. So you're telling me I broke the law? Yeah. Road Traffic Act 184, blah, blah, whatever, you know, blobbling on. So I made him say it about 5 times, but I had my phone on record, you see. I switched it on recording. So I said again, officer, are you telling me I broke the law? Which law? And he went, Road Traffic Act, so-and-so, so-and-so. So then I went to him, well, you've just been lying 6 times to me. It's on the phone. Road Traffic Act 184, Section 184 and that is an act and statute. It's not a law. Laws are made by judges and all this lot. So and now I can arrest you, officer. Do you want that? I go, bye-bye. And I got in the car and drove off. And as I'm looking through the mirror, he stood at the thingy saying to his mate, well, didn't come after me or out or anything. You just got to take them on. They made the mistake of saying I broke the law. If he said
I'll bring Sue in a second. She's got her hand up patiently. Sorry, Sue.
Oh, go on.
You muted, Sue.
Just to tell you, they can't get in, then, and she'd have to be off by 8, so we'll have to reschedule.
Okay.
Okay. So that was it.
Sandy's muted as well, so I'm sorry about that, Sandy.
No bother. Just had a bit of problem. What I'll do is I'll cover word with Sue and Bex and that, and we'll talk later and we'll fix out a date, and they can come down to my place or I can go to theirs, and we can get it done that way. If that's okay with you guys.
Yeah. We reschedule for another time. It was interesting to try and get a different perspective on the campaign in Scotland, because like we've got you've got various corners of the country here. You know, you've got Joe comes from Northern Ireland, although he's lived in this country since, was it 82, did you say, Joe?
I'm Southern Ireland. What are you talking about?
Sorry, Southern Ireland. Southern Ireland.
Let me right.
Incoming!
Hey!
Oh, gold.
oh, Alan, I used to like you.
Oh, bleep now, I've done it now. No, I've done it now. No. Where are you living now, then? It's your accent now and your accent past. You've got a combination of the two.
I ran away from home in 1984.
84.
I ran away from home and I lived in London. I lived on the streets. I lived on buses. I slept in buses. I slept on the streets.
Trains.
And then I joined the army when I turned of age. And then I done 9 years in the army. Then I left the army, and I kind of lived on the streets ever since. Really, I've just.
I knew a railway siding wasn't a bad place to sleep.
Hey, I used to live in Earl's Court. I'll never forget it. Do you know, when I was a kid, when I was probably about 10, 11, we didn't have much TV in Ireland. But I'll never forget, there was a show on, and it made London. It was kind of like the old Sweden. I can't remember what it was.
Thames.
London was fantastic.
Did they used to call it Thames Television or something? Thames.
I wouldn't know.
No.
Well, we didn't have TV in Ireland. We only had two towers.
No, it's all about the London one.
LWT.
Oh, could have been. And I thought it was fantastic. And I'll never forget the act of kindness by one man. I don't even know his name to this day. I was sleeping on the streets for 3 nights. I'd been walking up and down through Earl's Court and late at night, and you may get in when they park the buses in the streets or in a car pound. If you were able to open the back door, you were able to get in and sleep on the back end. But I remember this man, he was a doorman in a hotel, you know, wearing the old
like a concierge.
Concierge, yeah. And I'll never forget, ever, as long as I live. He said to me and there was a girl with me. She was the same age as me at the time. We were both very, very young. And he said to me, I've watched you to walk up and down this promenade for 3 nights, he said. And anyway, blah, blah. And he said, you don't have anywhere to live. And we were talking to him, and you know, he let us sleep in his car that night. And the next morning he gave me £2. £2 back then was a hell of a lot of money. And that was, to me, what London was about. Do you understand me?
Yeah, absolutely. Because having said that, Joe, I want to turn around and say something here. I've been with Sue on many occasions, and that girl, because she's been on the streets and she knows what it's like, many a time is she put her hand in her pocket, and I sometimes say to her, no, don't worry about it. But she totally ignores me and always gives them a coin from her pocket. And inevitably, it might be £1 to get a hot drink or something like that.
So do I.
And I thought to her, no, she's right, because I saw one guy one day when we were out there, and he was absolutely shivering.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really cold, but he'd obviously been out there a long time.
Yes.
And he might have even caught something. I don't know.
Yeah. And you have to understand, until you live on the streets. And I came from a small town in Ireland with a population of 3,500 people. And now I'm talking about the surrounding farm areas, and I'm talking about a big area when I'm talking about 3,500 people to living in London.
Mm.
That man gave me faith.
Yeah.
Faith that I hold to this day, because it was so, I remember it was our third day, me and this, I don't want to mention her name, but she'll remember Jenny. And we had 3 days with nothing. And I know 3 days doesn't sound a lot, but 3 days when you're hundreds of miles from your home and hundreds of miles, you know, in another country and far from your comfort zone.
It's a long time, minute by minute.
It is a long time. And that man let us sleep in his car that night. Just the fact that we were safe. People don't understand that. We were safe. Now, he could have been a mass murderer for all I know. But I took him on faith as he gave it to me on faith. And the next morning, he woke us up when he was finishing at 6 a.m. And he gave me £2. £2, Alan. Back in 1984.
Jesus.
I remember going to Wimpy. I remember buying a packet of fags.
Do you know what, Jojo? And Sue will tell you, oh, she's terrible for this, right? Now, one of my favourites years and years ago was a Wimpy special. Right? And you used to get a saveloy around the hamburger and cut into little slices with pickle. and Sue used to send me bloody pictures, right, of that and pie and mash and stuff like that. And she used to make me bloody jealous, she did. Terrible she is to me.
I know, she's a bad woman.
No, I'm not. I just want to say that although I was on the streets, I was in London, but I didn't go to the big places. I actually slept right on the walls, like by the walls of Wormwood Scrubs prison, because it's shadowed and nobody could see you in the shadows.
Yeah.
You know, and I was on my own.
Sue, we always hid in the shadows. I slept in the bus.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Buses in Earls Court.
Yeah. I mean, I was...
Yeah.
Parked them up at night.
Yeah.
I understand that. And you see, this is the thing, people.
Waterloo was the same as well. That had a lot of dark places.
You know, people don't understand.
In the shadows, yeah. Very good point.
I mean, I was older, you know, I was 17, I was pregnant when I was sleeping on the streets.
Bloody hell.
You know, it was only, I suppose, a week or so. You know, I was only down the road from my nan's house and all my family. You know, but nobody would help. You know?
No, it's strange, because I went through that stage where you kind of like you sofa surf for a lot of time with your family and someone like that, and then it comes to the stage where you don't really feel welcome anymore, or you're being pushed out, or
I wanted.
Yeah.
You know that You
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that feeling when you turn up and
Yeah.
everyone just looks at you? I mean, people said to me, well, you know, how come you don't go home? I don't go home because I get what you just said.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? I've got six
Yeah.
sisters, 2 brothers. And out with 6 sisters and 2 brothers, only one wants to see me. But yet, bearing in mind,
I'll be in a minute.
I have never caused no harm,
Mm.
or loss, or anything like that to any of my family.
Yeah.
Because,
Where did you
because
actually
I
come
get,
from?
you
What area,
know,
Joe, did you come from? What part?
oh, I come from Tipperary, a small little village.
Oh, I know Tipperary. Do you know Nina?
That's a long way.
Do you
That's
know
where I
Nina?
live.
Oh, look at him. You is Sandy. It's a long way.
Are you just said Nina? Alan, are you said Nina because you've heard it before?
I've been there.
Well, I live, that's where I'm from.
I lived in there. I've been to Nina. I was going out with an Irish girl, and she lived in. We went down to. We'll tell a lie. It was in the Troubles in the 70s when we first went over there, and the buildings were still encaged, and the buses were still on fire, and we stayed. I think it was Andersonstown, and we went out to a pub in the hills, the Black Hills, and we got lost coming down in a fog. And we came down the Falls Road, and one of them, his girlfriend was Catholic, he was Protestant, I was whatever I fucking was, and that she was shitting herself. She said to him, "Fucking hell!" He said, "Don't stop at their traffic lights. We're in the Falls Road." Really, really bad, and you could hear the helicopters. And I remember we went down this dip, and there was a garrison in the Andersonstown Road area, and they knock all the street lights out and everything around this garrison. Oh, fuck me, we went down this dip, and he's put his headlights on full beam, but there's a fucking rifle. I said, "Don't fucking switch your lights off." He's pointing at a fucking gun right at me. So, and then when we went to Southern Ireland, because of the girl that I was with at the time, we went to Waterford and places like that, and across the border, and went down as far as Nina, and where was the big Shannon? Somewhere where the Shannon was.
Okay.
Yeah, down that way. We went to where the Shannon was. We went through a lot of it because he was telling me the history of it. He used to, I think it was Newry or something, where the barracks, was it a barracks or a control post or point going north to south or whatever it was. So yeah, that's I had friends, Irish friends, and I went over there for a 2-week holiday.
Well, let me say, Alan, hand on my heart, you have another Irish friend here.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Shanta.
Probably.
I like Ireland.
Sandy, do you? Yeah, it's a beautiful place. And in actual fact, I remember
I was
seeing
just
some of the snow on the. They weren't like Scotland, where Sandy took me that time, and you looked from the Clyde downwards, and you could see all them mountains, and it looked actually brilliant. And I should know what that day you took me up there. You and Jane took me up there, and I was looking in the distance. I was in awe because the scenery was so beautiful. It was absolutely it was mountain after mountain after mountain, and it's like
it's magnificent.
Yeah,
it's a magnificent country land, Scotland.
Yeah.
Well, I live in a nice part of the West Coast. But I was listening to Alan talk about visiting Ireland. I remember my first trip over to Ireland, and I was driving a lorry.
Your band.
I was driving a lorry with a 45-foot trailer in the back of it. And it was a place called Randleston I had been. And I was coming back, and I was going up the motorway, heading up for a ferry. And it was at night, and I was going like a clappers of hell, I'm not kidding on. And the next thing, this car just pulled right in front of us. I had not a clue, and I hit the brakes. And how the hell I missed them, I don't know. And the next thing, these 2 guys come out, and they had guns, I could see it. And I shot myself. I didn't know what it was. I thought it was IRA, right? I was in my 20s at this time. And I was determined. I was trying to get the jack for jacking up a lorry. It was just exciting. I'm trying to undo this jack. And I swear, if I had to get that off, I'd have put one of them out of the game that night. I'd have been shot. I shot myself. And then he come up and he goes, guy goes, Garda. I had no clue what that was, Garda, you know. I'm like, oh, shit, I'm going to get shot today. But I've been over the
That's
island.
the Irish name for the police, isn't it?
Yeah, I've been over the island.
Garda
Yeah, Southern Ireland Police.
Yeah, and I love the place. And I was doing a documentary, right, for television at one time. That's the last part of my life. I used to do documentaries at one time. And we were over there. And it was in what do you call it? Monaghan, County Monaghan, over Monaghan. And this guy had seen a leopard. That's a true story. This guy had seen a leopard. So we were all investigating this. And it was like a free holiday. We were over for a week. With a helicopter, with everything on site. With jeeps, everything. Mobile phones he gave us. We got everything. And there were it was a pub in, as we would call it over here, like, but you Sue and Alan was a great fan. It was a wee place like that. And it was called the Screaming Pig. You can love that name. And the fella that we were over in Ireland with, what's his name, Charles? Was it? Oh, I can't remember his second name. It'll come to me. This guy Charles, anyway, we were over with. And he was telling us all about this leopard they'd seen and whatnot. And, we were going all over the place. But we went to this place called the Screaming Pig for a meal. So I started talking to the fellow who owns it. Like me, how did you come up with the name of the Screaming Pig? And he said, well, to cut a long story short, you know, and he starts getting into this detail, telling us all about this. And it was his grandparents had a farm and they kept pigs. He goes, and they were winning. And the way the Irish tell a story, they've got me in notes all the time. And he goes, well, to cut a long story short, he goes, to tell you the truth, he goes, my grandparents had a farm. He goes, and when this bastard of a pig, he wouldn't stop screaming. He goes, so decided we were doing away with it. He goes, and we done away with it. He goes, and it was the first pig that ever got the meat off it. He goes, we had that much yet. He goes, we were selling it. He goes, and then we got a chance of buying this place, so we bought it. And he goes, oh, you'll need to try some, the pig meat some night. I goes, that ain't no bother. So we went for this meal one night, and I'm not kidding you, I've never seen a plate like this. And potatoes, Jesus, I love potatoes. But this big plate of potatoes and everything. But I want to go back, I really do want to go back to that place. It was amazing, absolutely amazing. I love the place. And Jane's brother-in-law, his father, he was the last hangman in Ireland. This guy. Jane's not there, so it's a wee through there. But our father, Jane's brother-in-law's father, he was the last hangman in Ireland at one time. Well, he was the last hangman over there. Oh, but there we go.
No matter where we go, Sandy, in life, you know, we can always regress. And we can always go back in history.
You know, it's true. The Scottish and Irish, we can go anywhere. It's these blood places are strange.
You know what? I worked, unfortunately, for my sins. I worked for United Nations. I worked for several years for United Nations. And I've been in several different countries around the world.
Uh-huh.
And it makes me sad to this day because now I understand exactly what United Nations are. United Nations are a paedophile trafficking unit of the world. And I have no qualms if anybody in the chat room or anyone in this world wants to call me out on that, then call me out on that. But I never knew. And I'm genuinely saying this now as a man. I never knew. I never knew. I just participated. Because I had no idea. I truly, all them years, I never knew what these people were capable of. I always thought, Sandy, and I mean this genuinely. I mean this from my heart. When I wore the medals that they put on my chest, I felt proud. I felt, ooh. I remember my mom in the 80s when I got my first medal, and she was like, ooh, you know. And it hurts me today. It hurts me now to understand what the fuck their medals were truly for. And that's hard.
Yeah.
And that, honestly, and I know it sounds daft, but we're in a group here of hence why when I've come to this group, of enlightened gentlemen and gentlewomen, where we don't tell lies to one another. Because lies will always be found out.
Yeah.
You know? I've come here and I've in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, whatever I'm here. I'm proud to be a part of this group.
Yeah.
I'm proud to stand here with men and women that never knew any different, but enlightened themselves and took the time and the courage, because you know what?
Good.
The true courage comes from when your own family ignore you and belittle you.
Very true, that.
And I would even say get to the point of hating you, but you still carry through. And this group where I'm here now, Wake Up UK, have given me the voice, because I mean I'm a very quiet person.
Oh, right.
He should laugh at, does it?
It's given me the courage. It's given me the, you know, not just from within this site, because I now do it outside this site.
Good man.
This site, this Welcome UK, Wake Up UK, has given me that courage.
And you know, sometimes, Joe,
Right.
I've heard you on other people's shows, other host shows, and I've watched other host shows, because I tend to sit in the background sometimes and watch other hosts and see how they interact with their guests and so on and so forth. And I've heard you, and I'll tell you something, you do put a lot of good stuff in, and you say a lot of good things, and that's coming from me. So, you know, and I mean that sincerely. Can I just bring Sue in? Sue, you've been waiting there patiently. Sorry, darling.
Yeah, I was just going to say about like the family. You know, even to this day, I'm still called names because of what happened to me. Still call me names all these years after, and it hurts. And they say, well, like my sister-in-law said, oh, he don't mean it. Well, it does hurt, you know, whether he means it or not. It's hurtful to say it to someone, you know. 63
and you know
years.
what, too? You're right, sweetheart. That pain never dissipates, does it?
No, I do take things to heart, You know,
do.
if my grandkids.
You're strong now, though, Sue. You're very, very
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah, I am strong. I've got a lot stronger. But, you know, sometimes my grandkids can say something to me and it really cuts me because it takes me back to before when it was at its worst and name calling, you know, and everything.
But-
You know, people don't realise how hurtful it can be.
Because you know that old saying, sticks and stones and very bones,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but words will never hurt me. And you know what? It's probably the most untruest statement
Yeah.
that's ever
Yeah.
been
I
made.
like that. Yeah,
For
he said that well.
anyone. For
And do you know
anyone.
something, Joe? Let me just tell you. Sorry, Joe. Me and Sue were in Beechholme together, and Sue has got a fantastic memory, and she. I say this a few times, but because you probably don't know the story that.
Oh, I do.
With my collar up. She remembers me when I used to wear my collar up.
Elvis.
And she called me Elvis. And well, what happened? And I'll come back to it sometimes just to remind me and bring me to reality that what happened to Sue was worse than probably what happened to me for what they did to her. Was you 13, Sue?
14.
14 when they put you in a mental institution. That was for
Yeah.
speaking out about your abusers.
Yeah.
It's similar to what we've got today, the tyranny that we've got today. When we were younger, and I know Joe's gone back to say, in some of the things we did when we were younger, some of the stuff we did was okay. But when we were in, if we went back to the 70s, we never used to talk about sex. We never talked about gays, lesbians, or anything like that. If we said anything, we got a good hiding.
If you even mentioned, Alan, let's be honest, you mentioned sex, you were punished. I remember when I was 7 years old, and probably one of the greatest memories of my life, I had chickenpox. And I had chickenpox in my head, all over my body. You know what happened to me? I was put into a bath of salt.
Oh.
Because there was no ointment to cure me. I understand the pain. And I remember that.
Yeah, the pain never goes.
Hmm.
Never goes. You
No.
know, you live with it.
Is he all right?
There.
Is Joe all right?
Yeah,
He's gone off.
You okay, my man? Oh, bless.
Is he all right? Joe, can you hear me? He might have a connection problem, but I just hope he's all right.
I hope.
That kind of hit something home there. When we talk about now, when I was talking to you about the carbolic soap, and I don't think Sue knew exactly what was going in each cottage. As children, we didn't know. We didn't say anything. We didn't speak about it. We spoke about it. We got punished even more. And it's hard to talk about, Sandy. You know, to say that adults were putting carbolic soap in children's mouth, they put it in their eyes, they were touching them up in the bath, they were slapping them and using floor scrubbing brushes on it. When Jean turned around and said it happened to her in the 50s in Beechholme, and then you said exactly the same, I kind of cried. I think I was on the show one night, and you and Jane were talking about it, and Jane was talking about a story, and I came to tears because for the simple reasons that, you know, when you've got something inside you and you've got that inner thing that's inside you, and you talk about it, and people see you visually, but do they actually understand what actually you did go through and what you went through? And then when you turn around and saying, you know, we had a lot of similarities with the punching in the head and the slaps and beatings and what we used to go. You all right, Joe?
Yeah, man.
Are you okay? You okay, brother? God bless you, mate. God bless you, mate. God bless you.
Oh, yeah.
I respect you, Joe, mate. Respect you. Stay strong, Joe. Please. Stay strong, brother. So, and when you turned around and said about the carbolic soap that, you know, the treatment that I went through with and being put in my eyes and in my mouth and him scrubbing with 4 scrubbing brushes and beating me to fuck in the bathroom and touching me and doing all sorts of things, and Audrey Wilson abusing me in the dormitories and like that. And the kids all used to turn their fucking backs on you because they weren't going to be a part of it. And I don't know if Sue ever saw any of that. Did you ever see that, Sue? You muted, Sue. You muted, Sue.
You're muted, Sue.
You muted, Sue.
You see,
Sorry. I saw it after my abuser when he was abusing me, and in the end I told him where to go. And then when I used to notice him coming out the side rooms, but you know, I didn't sort of connect at the time. But I woke up to the noise one night and he was in, I think she was 9 or 10-year-olds bed.
But what I was saying is when it was happening to me is that all the kids turned facing the wall. So their front was facing towards the wall, their back was facing to us. So nobody was looking directly at my abuser or Audrey Wilson.
No one can ever say, Alan. No one can ever point the finger. And that's the sadness.
Yeah. But you know,
Joe, you're all right, mate. Stay strong, mate. Stay strong. We're with you, mate. We're with you all the way.
No, for a step.
Yeah, we're all here.
God bless him. Go on, Sue. Carry on. Just let him get his thoughts and let him breathe.
Yeah. You know, the abuse didn't happen in every house, thank God. And as you say, we never spoke to each other about what was going on. No one ever discussed it. You know, I mean,
what's that old saying? Silence is golden.
Yeah, we didn't even.
Friends to talk about it.
Yeah,
but petrified to talk about it because I know what happened to me when I reported it. I had to apologise to this son of a bitch. I had to force to apologise to him.
Yeah.
That hurts.
I just got to go for a minute. I've got to go for a minute.
The other week, well, a few nights back, I done a Facebook Live. And a son of a bitch for Glasgow, and I hope I meet him because I'll fucking do his head right in. I really will. And the next thing he come on, and he was calling me a fucking beast. That was the hardest thing out that I've ever been called. And that really floored me. I come out for the Facebook Live that night. And I couldn't sleep. I went to bed, I just couldn't sleep. It was playing up on me. It was triggering off a depression. And Jane got up. She goes, "Are you okay?" I didn't want Jane to know it. I didn't want to upset her. I went, "I'm okay," but Jane knows me well. She goes, "I'll sum up." And I just broke down. It's like, I called me a beast tonight. I said, I've been called me anything, but that really did hurt. That really did hurt me.
Yeah.
I was up all that night, part of the following night, and it still hurt me to this day. But these bastards that know nothing about you,
No.
it's the first ones to come on and criticise you. Even my own son.
To make you.
Even my own son, and I was listening to Joe, God, my heart goes out to you. I know what that is. I had my son turn against me. I had a friendship with my son that was second to none. My son and I, we could talk about anything, everything. But my son turned against me. I've not spoke to my son since the last time I seen him was in February 2012. I've got 2 grandkids to him.
That's a long time over.
I've never seen them. He'll not allow me to see them. he sent me a letter registered and to sign for. And my God, if you'd have seen what was in this letter. And my son accused me of beating his mother and beating him. They spread it around the village where I live in. I live in a little rural village, and they spread that around the village about me. I took a nervous breakdown and I ended up in a psychiatric hospital for what I'd done. I'm ashamed of myself, but I took an overdose. I wanted to escape all this abuse, everything that was in my mind. I just wanted away. I thought that was the easiest way. I thought that was my way to freedom. I'd wake up in a better place. I'd be with my mother, my father, my brothers, my sister. And,
That's strong, Sandy.
I woke up in a psychiatric hospital where I spent 7 months rebuilding my life. I come out of that place and they put me in a hostel. And I walked in and I walked back out and I slept in the streets. I slept in the streets. My money, my son and my wife went to my bank account. They took out an injunction. I wasn't allowed to go near the house because I was supposed to be wife beater. I was right down in my luck. I was, God. I was right down in my luck, and I phoned one of my friends and I was embarrassed and I phoned him and he come and got me. Took me home, I got a shower, I got a shave, gave me a change of clothes. I had the clothes, basically the clothes I had, that was it. Every single thing I owned, from my clothes to everything. Now I made good out of my life. I don't want to sound big-headed. I had my own house, I showed Sue, showed you, Alan, where I lived. So I had a good life. I had lovely holidays, cars, a lot. And here was me, sleeping in the fucking street begging for money. Begging for my mate to help me.
I've been there. I know.
And he did come. He did come and he helped me. He had a friend down the village where I stay who owns a letting agency. And he got me a house. And he had to pay a month down and a month in advance. And he paid that for me. And he supported me to eventually got on my feet again. And I went to pay him the money back and he wouldn't take it. He wouldn't take a penny. That was amazing. That's friendship. But nobody in this planet knows what like a situation is till you're in that yourself.
Just us.
I vowed, and I swore again, I started making it. If I ever come back good in my life, I'll make other folks' lives good.
Sandy, I remember the times when, when I was doing
I think Joe's trying
and I was in pubs and I was buying all the drinks.
I think Joe's trying to come back in.
Sorry?
I think Joe's trying to get back in.
Sorry,
No, we're trying to talk. I mean, was you trying to say something, Joe?
Sure.
No, it's okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I thought you were trying to come into the conversation.
I know there's an age difference between me and Sandy, but
no, but
fuck me. You know what?
I've got a wee saying, Joe.
Maybe an age difference, but it's been the same problem.
But I've got a wee saying. And it's when you're writing the story of your life, don't let any other bastard hold the pen. Don't let anybody run you down. Don't let anybody think they're better than you. We're all the same. We're all born the same.
No, I don't. But you know my sadness. Sandy, my sadness is that I know me and you are here right now. But there's so many children worse off
Oh God, aye.
Yeah, it's still happening
That's
today.
gonna stop that.
No, I know.
I mean,
You know, last week in Glasgow, Joe, I went to Glasgow to speak. Near enough all the team went to Edinburgh. And we put in a plea for toys for kids, and all these folk were going to bring toys. And I went in to George Square in Glasgow, and there were only a handful of people turned up. And all these people that says they were bringing toys for the kids, never turned up. And not one of them turned up.
yeah,
And I was fucking raging, and I'm sorry for my language, but I was.
yeah. And I know, you see, this is where I'm coming to. Sandy, see, this is where I'm coming to. You see, I'm coming to the point where I remember early in my years, and, you know, I was fucking, you look at my police record, 500 police, and, you know, big time, afraid with the police and all that nonsense. And then I kind of grew up a little bit. And then, you know, after you kind of grow up, you kind of think things are going to happen. And they don't. But that's where I am now. And I have a serious problem that my best little buddy, my grandson, is 7. And these bastards want to touch him. No, I'm not. And then you look and think, nah, it's not happening. So I think about school. My pain is real. These people, these elite, these pedophile, satanic, pedophile group will not stop till they have my body.
It's true there, you know.
And if they think, I always knew from a young bloke. Now I know what my military experience for. Because I'm going to stop them. Suddenly, I promise you.
Yeah.
I listened to your story. I listened to everyone else here. Because this is what this platform is about. Pain. We're not here about, oh, we're all well and good. Because that's not what it is. We suffer. Many of us.
And we just had Kimberly join us as well. So Kimberly is on the way in. And I've also messaged you both, Sandy and.
Yeah, but I
Hi,
mean,
Kimberly.
Hi, Kim.
What's that say?
I said hi, Kimberly.
Oh, right, okay.
We all come on here to suffer.
but I mean, what?
Speak your truth.
I heard you talking about Wake Up UK, Joe, and what it's done for you. I might sue by chance. It was meant to be. Through Sue, I met Alan. Through Alan, I've met yourself, I've met Charles.
Yeah.
Everyone else here.
Through your strength.
And we're like a wee family.
Yes,
we're all the children of the past that suffered. In some way, we've all suffered.
And through your strength, I found my voice.
The closest I've ever come, Joe, to anybody living my life. By God, it's hard.
Are you okay, Joe? Joe, you're right.
But the closest I've come to...
Joe, you've had me in tears tonight, mate. Yeah, I've welled up, mate, and listening to you and hearing you. I have the utmost respect for you, mate. I do.
I heard you saying, Joe, about your medals. I heard you talking about that and how you hang with. But you should have a medal. You should have one medal be presented to you. And you should wear it with pride.
I sent them back.
That comes for all of us here tonight. You should have a medal for us because you are a true warrior, a true soldier in the fight for justice. And I know everyone would agree with me there.
Yeah.
You've brought happiness to me, you've brought tears to me, but you're a warrior, Joe. I'll beat you back as much as I love everyone else in here. I hope you're okay, bro. Oh,
I don't want to be a warrior.
but
I know I can be. I just know that my Sandy, you understand?
I fully understand. I've been
My
there.
grandson, he's innocent. And all these satanic pedophile fuckers worldwide.
Yeah, I mean, do you know, like, I was abused and I've had to deal with it. And my abuse is nothing to me because compared to my grandchildren when they were abused and I had to, that hurt me more than anything, my grandchildren being abused, you know, and thank God that, you know, I managed to get custody of all of them, you know, but I've come through it sort of okay, you know, but I've got a grandson who hasn't, you know, and he's nearly 23 now. Well, he is 23 and he, to this day, he still suffers, you know.
But it wasn't abuse back when I done it. Because it was always classed as innocence.
Mm.
Well, me running from a hometown of 3,000 people to a city of 3 million people was just normal. This is the inherent problem that we live with. These people hate our children. And I don't mean them hate as in the word we understand hate. These people despise our children. Despise the love we have for our children. And I know I've suffered, and you know what, to be honest, I never thought of it as being a problem the last few years. It's only because I come on here I find it a problem. But you know what? If we don't stop as a group of people, the pain and suffering that happens to our juniors, you know, I'm 50 odd, so I'm talking 40 odd years below me. If we can't even stop that, because each of us here have suffered pain.
And that's why we're joining together, getting more people support to go out there and try and do this to stop it happening.
No, we must.
We do.
Joe, you're a fantastic guy. And as I said to you before, I've heard you before, and you come across really, really well. I'm glad to call you a friend, and listening to you tonight. I know it's a bit emotional for us sometimes, but we're true people and we show our emotions. And I'm unfortunately one of them guys that it still affects me to this day. I'm 66 in March, and it still affects me to this day. And Sandy's 69, and it still affects you, doesn't it, Sandy? And
It has to happen.
yeah,
If the pain don't stop,
yeah. And
then
I've
the
said this to
pain's not
people many
real.
a times, the pain doesn't go away. It lives with you forever.
Yeah. And we
Yeah,
must
it's
make
the-
this real for people out there. People that think this don't happen.
They need to get their heads out their asses and come out into the real world.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
that's what
We
they
have
need.
to. We have to stop pretending. You know what? If it takes my life, then so be it. If my body is free, and it's only lately I realized what little we used to have. Come on. If we go back 20 years, Alan, Sandy, Sue, go back 20 years.
Mm.
Just go back 20 years. Where were we?
Mm.
Look at us now. 5 of us, 6 of us, sitting on a chat show.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah.
Just think about it for 2 minutes. Just hold your breath. Just think about it. Where are we?
You're muted, Sandy. You're muted. Sandy, you're muted.
The thing is, Joe, we're all sitting here tonight talking about our past, shedding tears. I don't know who's listening and who's not. If just one person, just one
I'm
person
listening.
gets comfort, gets a wee bit of comfort, and it helps them in any way. And by Christ, we've done a good job tonight. We've done a bloody good job.
And that was all about.
Last week in Glasgow, as I was saying, I ranted on about things, really ranted on, maybe a bit much, about the lack of support and whatnot. And in a way, it was a good thing, a bloody good thing. Because after I'd done my rant and I come off, there were a girl, and her name and all was Sue. And she shouted out my name, and I went over and I sat with her. And she had contacted me previous, and I had read her story. And Jesus Christ almighty, this is shocking. She was a young girl. She was in Quarriers Orphan Homes. She was booted out of Quarriers at 15, left to fend. She couldn't fend. She turned to drugs, she turned to prostitution.
Oh.
She got a job and she worked with Quarriers just recently. Just recently. And we've got the proof. We have got the proof. To this day, in Quarriers Orphan Homes, the abuse of children is still getting fucking on. And quarriers have to come up with this Scottish Government redress scheme to put money into it. And quarriers, I've sent you the link, Alan, read it. Their new chief executive guy has turned around and says their insurance companies are not going to get involved with anything like this, no unless there's a waiver written into this by the Scottish Government that we will not be able to take quarriers nor their abusers to court, nor the Scottish Government.
So what do we do, Sandy?
That's fucking blackmailing us. Blackmailing us.
Of course it is. The
You know,
blackmail are paying.
the Scottish Government has come out with a thing now that any child who was abused in a care home in Scotland before the 26th of September 1964 cannot take their abusers to court. I come under it.
Because we live with these filthy,
Now,
dirty, satanic bastards.
aye, well, I may like the thickest cunt on planet Earth, but believe me, when it comes to it, I'm not that thick. I started researching this. Why? Why did this 26th of September? Why the year 1964? Why was that the cut-off date? Why did they cut that off? And I discovered that child abuse in care homes in Scotland was at an all-time high between 1930, 1940, 1950, and into the early part in the 1960s. That's why they went, well, there'll be other people suing. There's 174 of us, Quarriers Warriors, that we built up as an army, fighting for justice with Quarriers Orphan Homes to get them to give us a fucking apology, a written apology. And the only way we can get a written apology off them is to accept.
Sandy, my brother, no, there's not just 174 of you.
There's 174 of us plus our friends and families.
No, my brother.
But
there's all of us here too.
Yeah. Oh, I know that. I mean, the support I get for Alan Merritt and
I also know. I spent many years working in Scotland. Scotland, see, what people don't understand is that Scotland has a very different law than us down here.
Yeah, but this is where I think Alan Merritt and Jason.
Yes. No.
Give us a
Alan, yes, it works to a certain extent. But the homeland of Scotland want to push that down. Mm-hmm. You can't record. You cannot. Mm. But you know what, Sandy, since I come here many months ago, I've gained many friends. Many intelligent people. Which you are one of. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We must, what I've learned over these months, we must not stop.
No, well, I give my word on it, I'll never stop.
We cannot.
Well, never. The only day I'll stop is the day they plant me.
We cannot stop. We cannot. And I know, like I've said, my boy and whatever, I've made a choice. But they can take my life. And I mean that literally, metaphorically, and any other sense of the one. They can take my life. But they will not will not. Let me make this clear to anyone, because I know they listen to us. I know they listen to us.
Well,
They will not. Swear on me and my boy.
this is
I wondered for years, because I kind of had a, I mean, I have to be honest, Sandy. I kind of had lackluster life, and I just fucked around.
Joe,
Yeah,
you've
he's
been very
right.
strong tonight, mate. Listen to a wise soul guy. You've had me in tears tonight, listening to your story. I've watched you and I've seen you. I've seen the tears rolling down your face, and just keep that strength.
yeah.
You're a great man, and I love listening to you. And I've watched you on many platforms and many other host shows. And I'd say to you, stay strong, brother. If you ever need anything, I'm here, mate. You can have my phone number. You can phone me anytime you want. I'm here, and Sandy is the same.
Oh,
Ever need us, mate? If you ever want anybody to talk to,
we're here.
but don't think you're alone in this, mate. Because
No.
you know, like we said when we were kids, we couldn't do anything about it. They wouldn't let us do anything. Wouldn't let us say anything. We had to live with it all our lives. And what happened to poor Sue?
Oh, sorry.
You're right, Sandy. What happened to Sue was despicable. And Sue had it worse than what I did by being put in a mental institution for her abuse that she went through. Sandy, yeah, you can come in, Sandy, carry on. I'll be with you in a minute, Richard.
There's a man just joined us, and I'd like to introduce him. And I met this man a few weeks ago, Jane and I. It's Charles Lucas here. Evening, Charles. This is our hope for Scotland. I'm putting my trust in this man, and I hope he can. I sent you a video a few weeks ago about a man that stood up to John Swinney, and it was amazing what he done. That's one man. So Charles, as you'll see on, we've got Sue.
Is it Charles or Richard?
They're from our sister group, the Beechholme Warriors.
Sandy, you keep saying Charles, it's Richard.
Richard, I know, fine, I say Charles. It's because Charles is on the night. I just see this name in front of his Charles here.
Just going to let you know, guys, we've only got sort of 5 minutes before I've got our hand over to Kimberly, because it's Kimberly's show at 9 o'clock. I don't know where Adele is, but I mean, Kimberly will take over in a minute. But I'm going to stay on a little bit longer if I may, Kimberly. Can you hear me, Kimberly? Can you hear me?
Yeah, but he just got back from North Wales, so I'm just...
Your volume's not very loud, though.
You can't hear me, can you?
You can't hear you very loud.
You're unusually quiet, Kimberly. Very unusually quiet.
Don't be like that, Jason. But so Kim, I'm going to be handing over to Kimberly in probably about 5 minutes. So I thought I'd just let you know, guys, if Kimberly allows, I'd like to stay on a little bit longer if I can tonight, Kimberly. I want to listen to Richard for a little while.
Yeah, that's
okay. You're much better now, much better.
Maybe now, yeah.
And Jojo, absolutely brilliant tonight, mate. You got me an emotional wreck tonight, and it takes a lot for me to kind of break down. And you got to my heartstrings tonight, my friend. Just hope you stay strong. And you know, and as always, it's always brilliant with my great friend Sandy and one of my best friends Sue to come there. Charles is always fantastic. So I can't really say the guests I've had on tonight have been absolutely brilliant.
Never meant about him that way, my brother.
But you've been, Joe. I really thank you for tonight. You've been absolutely brilliant. And we've got somebody else coming in here.
And it was nice meeting you tonight, Joe.
Cheers, Sue. You see, Alan, it's all the way you do to make us feel this way. because the truth will always set you free.
Yeah.
You know, I've had this before though, Joe. You know, before I hand over to Kimberly, is that people sometimes, I think sometimes it's very, very difficult to talk about child abuse. Trust me. And it's something that lives with you forever. And I saw a psychiatrist many, many moons ago, and he said the one thing to me. He said to me, Alan, he said, there's only one thing wrong with you. He said, you've got a memory, and your memory will never let you forget.
True. Yeah.
So I'm going to hand over to Kimberly now. I think it's almost, Kimberly, it's your show now.
Thank you
I
very
know
much.
Jason would normally give me a shout, but
Okay, I was waiting for you. Give me a second to change the names on the screen. Give me just 1 second. Hang on.